Hello and welcome back. I'm back. I have not been here in a very long time. I've not been on YouTube in a very long time. And for that I can only apologise. I realised I sort of introduced my channel, did a couple videos, and then completely disappeared from YouTube. I've still been about on, I don't know if anyone follows me on Bookstagram and stuff, I've still been on there. I'm going to be honest, I've had zero motivation to do any YouTube videos, and I've always said that this is something for me really, and if people enjoy my events and me having an outlet to talk about books, and that's great, and I'm so happy about that. But I'll never try and make something if I don't have it in me, because then I don't enjoy it, and then I feel like it's not even enjoyable for anyone to watch, because you can tell whoever's making it isn't having a great time. My chair keeps twisting that way. I can feel it going again. Where was I? What was I saying? I'm already sidetracked. Probably not even a minute in, I'm already sidetracked. Okay, yeah. So, sorry, I'm back. And this is just really a video, a general reading update, an update on me being on here, and to say basically that I'm back. I will be doing YouTube videos again. Like I said, I just haven't had the motivation to do any of them. And I will give you a reading update since I last saw you, which I think was May. I think I last posted on here. I think it was. So I just decided I'm just going to do a reading update of what I've read, what I've been reading, how I've been feeling about my reading as well, because I've had a really strange year. Well, not year, maybe like half a year. Maybe since spring, I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to go for, is since spring I've had a really strange reading year. And I've sort of worked out why I think that is, but I'm going to get to that. First of all, I did want to say that a big reason I haven't had any motivation to make book content and videos and talk about them is because it links into the reading thing, is because I have felt really disconnected from my reading, like I said, since spring. And I could not work out why that was, because arguably I've had one of my best reading years ever. It's definitely since I started, because I started reading in about 2020, like as an adult, where I actually started reading stories and reading books and like actually getting into reading. And I'd say this is probably it's the least I've read in a year, but everything I have read I think it's probably been my best year quality wise of what I've been reading, and I've found like so many all-time favourites this year, but weirdly enough this is the year that I have felt most disconnected from my reading. It's just it doesn't really make much sense. I know that sounds strange, and this is why I couldn't work out why my reading was feeling really off and really wrong, even though the books I was reading I was absolutely loving. I felt a bit separated from them. And I won't lie, a big factor probably is that it's summer. I'm not a summer person at all. I don't do heat, I can't do it, I just struggle. I find the energy in summer really frantic and heavy and like spiky. That's the only, like I don't like it. I'm not a fan at all. Like I enjoy some parts of summer, but as a whole, my whole mood, you know that seasonal, is it a seasonal affective disorder, the like SAD thing? It's like I think it said like SAD, SAD, I'm sure it's called that. Well, I actually found out you can have it in reverse. I found that out a while ago. And then everything made sense for me, because how people feel in the winter, you know, when it's dark and it's cold and the days are shorter, that's how I feel in the summer. Like I genuinely feel so low in the summer, and I know that might be really strange to some people, but I feel so low in the summer. My energy is so low, everything is so low. I don't have even to read, I don't have the motivation to read, so naturally the amount I read every summer always goes down. But the temperature is dropping, the leaves are changing, and my mood is increasing. I'm coming back to life, so I'm so happy about that, and that's what's given me the drive to sort of want to make this video and do this reading update, because I've had so many ideas and so many videos that I want to do, but I just I've not had it in me. And like I said, I'm not just going to do something for the sake of it, because if I don't enjoy it, then you don't enjoy it, no one enjoys it, and what's the point? And as always, this is just like it's a messy little outlet for me to rant about books. And if other people enjoy it, then that's great. I love that. In my mug today, I've got nothing exciting. It is just, it's hot water. We've got no tea today, unfortunately. I fancied hot water. I didn't have to explain myself. So I also want to add on to what I've just said about, obviously, the summer, the heat. My whole mood changes in the summer. I just feel like a shell of a person. I'm like a zombie, and like I said, I feel like I'm coming back to life now. But another part of my reading that I think I've struggled with is I started my Bookstagram sort of, well, this time last year, sort of, I suppose. I think it was like end of September. Oh, okay, sorry, someone came in. What was I saying? Where was I? My reading, yeah, my reading, obviously. Wait, hang on. About the summer, my mood. Sorry, I probably should have what? I probably should have thought about this in my head before I started, because I knew that this was gonna like sidetrack me. Me. Mood. Oh yeah, okay, my Bookstagram. So, sorry, we got there in the end. I only restarted my Bookstagram, like I said, end of September last year, and I love it. It's great. The community, God, I'm gonna get emotional. I love it so much. I have made best friends because of it, and it's just been everything, and I absolutely love sharing that space with everyone on there, and it's great. It's amazing, and I don't think I've ever been part of a community like this before, like that. I just love it. But in saying that, it does mean that it's sort of my first year reading where I've been navigating reading and being in the book community and being in the book space. And like I said, it's amazing and I love it, but I think that has really affected my reading and how I read and how I consume my reading. A big part of mine has always been finding hidden gems. I really love finding books that hardly anyone has read or anyone I know has read. There's something I think about being fully in a world by yourself that no one you know has been in before, and especially if it's one like, for example, Winter's Fury, by A.E. Rain, Tale of Stars and Shadow, Lisa Cassidy. They were ones that now some of my friends have read because I've ranted and raved about how much I love them. But ones like that, I just love finding hidden gems that I'm in like wholly by myself. Like it's something for me and just me. And for the meantime, whilst I'm reading it, I'm there alone, and I find that's a really big enjoyment in reading for me, is being completely transported. And don't get me wrong, I love discussing books with people. I love that. I love dissecting them and talking about them with my friends. But there is something, I think, when you're actively reading the book, to be so completely consumed and alone in that. There is something about that. I think that's why I'm not a very good buddy reader. I do struggle with buddy reads. I wish I didn't, because I'm doing one now, but I'll get onto that, and I'm really enjoying that. But I'm not a great buddy reader, and I tend to say no to them if people ask. It just doesn't do it for me. But I've realised that that has been a big part of my reading, because I've been in the book space and because everyone does such a good job on being passionate and loving the books that they love. And if they've read one, like, there's so many reviews and so many of you guys who are on there and my friends and everyone, you do such good reviews, and everyone rants and raves about the books they love so much. And I just like, well, I have to read this book now. I really want to read this book, and I want to understand like why you love it so much, and you love things that I love, so I'm probably going to love it. And I think that was a problem for me, because I've never had to navigate them two things side by side. And it might be like, well, that's nothing. Like, I think it did affect me. It did affect my reading. And because of that, I think taking other people's opinions and views and what they were getting from a story whilst I was reading at the same time, even if it was just by chance, like even if I was reading a book that was quite sort of popular at the time, or like quite a few people I know are reading, because obviously there is like obviously people follow people in the Bookstagram community, everyone sort of sees, oh, this person, and then this person ranted about it, and it's sort of it makes a loop, you know, it makes a thing. And I definitely got swept up in some of them, and that's not a bad thing. I loved so many of the books. But I think I did feel slightly separated from them, that even though I loved them, there was this core heart feeling that was missing from the experience itself, not necessarily the book, but my experience reading it. And I've realised that is because I wanted to be involved with this. I wanted to know what all this love was about. Like, I'd say that actually the most recent example is The Children of Gods and Fighting Men by Shauna Lawless. Wow, oh my god, okay, I love that book. I love it so much, and I have Dreams of Fire on pause, actually, the novella that follows it. And I loved it so much, but it was sort of, when I was reading this book, I've read, because a lot of people on Bookstagram, on my side of Bookstagram, are reading that at the moment, because a few people have been like, wow, this is just incredible. Like, it sort of had a little boost, a little hit, a little, like, power up. And it was amazing because it was great seeing so many people's reviews and their thoughts and their opinions and their takes on it. But I realised it really took me out of the story, and I didn't want that. And it was good. I'm glad it happened, because it made me realise that this is what the problem was with my reading for the summer period. It wasn't just the heat and me being an absolute miserable person in the summer. It was how I was sort of getting swept along with everyone's love for all the sorts of different books, and Children of Gods and Fighting Men is just a really good example of that one, but there was a few of them. But I've worked it out now, so hopefully I can bring my reading back to life the same way I'm coming back to life now that the temperature's cooling down. And honestly, since I've worked out that was the problem, I've been having a great time. And one of the things I have done to also fight against this weird feeling I've had about reads that I've absolutely adored, but the experience for some reason of reading it has felt different. God, I don't know if anything I'm saying right now is coming out very coherent. And if it's not, I'm sorry. If you understand, that's great. If you don't, honestly, like I always say, no, I never expect anyone to actually watch these in full, so you crack on, do what you want. But another thing is rereading. I have been converted. I was never a rereader. The only series I'd really reread was The Bonds That Tie by Jay Bree. That series is such a comfort for me, and I've reread that 8 times. I think I reread it 4 times the year I first read it. God, I love that series. There's just a comfort in that for me, and I loved it. But why then I had this thought that I don't enjoy rereading, or there was no point in rereading. Not that there wasn't any point. I knew there was some books I was always going to do rereads of, but I had to wait for the right time. But a lot of the time, if I thought I could reread that series, there was this like niggle in my brain that was saying, like, it was just like niggling away every time I said, like, oh, I'm going to reread that series. And it was like, well, what's the point? Like, if you're, like, you know you love it. You loved it the first time. It was great, which is why people reread. I know that, but something in my head always kept going like, yeah, but you could be using this reading time to read a new one that you love. Like, you could find a new thing that you love. And now I wish I'd punched that bit of my head harder then, because I just sort of went, oh yeah, you're right. And I went along with this little yappy part of my brain, and I wish I hadn't, because honestly, I am a converted rereader. I'd say the last month I have reread so many of my favourites, and it has given me an oomph and spark back to my reading again. And yeah, it's changed my reading. And now I can appreciate it, and it means I'm even more excited, because now it means, like, I know I love a reread. I loved a reread from The Bonds That Tie, but now I know my brain's gonna let me reread and just enjoy it. But yeah, so that's another thing that has really changed my reading, and got me out of this sort of weird hole. It wasn't a slump as such. I don't know what this is. I don't know what to call it. It was just this really strange sensation. Anyway, let's do a catch up on my reading. So I said I was going to do from May. So basically I've done what I've read, I think. Did I do the reads from May, or did I? No, I started in June. So the last video I did was in May, so I did my reads from June. So I'm just gonna, some of them I'll go through quickly, some of them I might talk about a little bit, and then I'm just gonna do what I'm currently reading, and that should be the end of my rambling then. So The Night and the Moth, Rachel Gillig. I don't know if I have the words to talk about that one. It was, she's done it again. Rachel Gillig did it again. That book is just everything. I just love her. I love her work so much, and I love her characters. I love her worlds. Everything about it was just immaculate, and I don't really know how to rant and rave about that book without just screaming about things that happened that would be spoilers. But just know that I love that book. I think it's fantastic. I will never get over the atmospheres in her books. I think that they're just, beautiful. They're stunning. They're everything. Okay. Empire of the Vampire. I finally read it. I finally got around to reading Empire of the Vampire, and yep, I get it. I have read Jay's Nevernight Chronicles, and I love them books so much. So I knew that I liked Jay's writing. I will say though, Empire of the Vampire really shocked me, because for whatever reason, and I don't know why, hang on, let me just, sorry, I had that cup in my hand for ages and I couldn't get myself to shut up. Empire of the Vampire, it really surprised me, because for whatever reason, I had been under the impression that book was going to be a very massive political multi-point of view book, and it's not that at all. And it really shocked me in the sense that, one, it's not multi-point of view. It's not like a political court intrigue kind of book. I was just I don't know why, like arts and stuff I'd seen, and some things I'd seen people see without mentioning spoilers, like as in they were not mentioning spoilers. I was just really under this heavy impression that it was going to be this big political intrigue, court bits and bobs, like multi point of view characters, characters. I don't know what I said then. And it wasn't. It was this adventure book. Really, like it was an adventure. And what I loved about it is there was something so non-anxiety inducing, especially for how big a book it is, and the fact that it is quite an epic story. Like there's always some level of stress of like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Who's going to die? What's going to happen? What is going to happen? And you sit there stressing. I like, you put the book down, you're sort of reading, and then you're like, no, just give me a minute. I didn't have that. And what I loved about that, and the reason why, was because you know everything that happens. Like, not everything, you know what happens. And what I love about this story, which I found really different, was you know the outcome, you know the sort of ending from the beginning. It's gaps that are filled in along the way. So it was the fact that we found out why stuff happened, where stuff happened, how stuff happened, who was there, who it happened to, things like that. I really loved that aspect of it, because I found that, like, I don't know, this might have just been a me thing, it might have been something that everyone experienced. I didn't have any surprises in that book. There was nothing that shocked me, and like, I don't think anything was a bit of like a, oh my god. Everything that happened, I either very heavily suspected, or I think it was very fed to you from the start, and that's not a bad thing. I loved that. I found that it made for a really calm reading experience in a very dark world. But I will say, I was expecting it to be darker. I mean, I'm planning to read Damned? No, is that the new one? No, the new one's Dawn. Damned, I'm planning to read Damned, hopefully started by the end of this month, maybe next month, because I'm going to the J. Kristoff and John Gwynne event in November, which I'm so excited about. That makes me like want to scream. That's so exciting. There's so many people who I've like made friends with from Bookstagram going, so that's going to be such a fun evening. But yeah, I'm planning to read that, and so maybe it does get darker. I didn't find it particularly dark so far as everyone says it is. Maybe But again, I think that might just be a personal thing, might not be, I'm not too sure. Anyway, moving on, I loved it, it's amazing. Tea and Alchemy, that was an arc read by Sharon Lynn Fisher. Loved that, again, really cosy fantasy, based in Cornwall, so obviously I loved it. Not to be biased, no, it was brilliant. The setting and the fact that she used the setting of Roach Rock. Roach Rock is a really stunning ruin that we have here in Cornwall, and everything was just so vivid, and I really loved her writing. And it's basically a tale of suspicion and folklore, but obviously the folklore is real, and it's vampires, but vampires again, staying on theme, but it's done in a very, like I said, like folklore way, like an old-fashioned, old worldly vampire style, and everything about it was beautiful, and I really enjoyed being in that world. And if you ever just want like a cozy but dark and atmospheric, because I use the word cozy a lot, because if I get the warm feeling in my chest, to me that it's cozy, but it is, like, she works in a tea room, and yeah, I think it's set in 18 something. I might be wrong on that, don't hold me to that. But it's stunning and it's beautiful, and I really highly recommend for a standalone. We then have For the Wolf. I thought it was up here, it's not up here. For the Wolf is the first in the Wilderwood duology by Hannah Witton. I love Hannah Witton's writing. I have previously read The Foxglove King, so the Nightshade Crown series. I've still got to read the final book of that. I'm terrified, but I'm also so excited. I loved it. It was so atmospheric. And if anyone's read the Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig, and I know whether they were friends or I don't know, but I know that Rachel and Hannah are quite good friends now. Like, I think maybe more so in recent years. I don't know their history or anything. And One Dark Window felt like a love letter to the Wilderwood. They're just both stunning. It's the atmosphere, the characters, the connections. One Dark Window felt like a love letter to the Wilderwood, for the Wolf by Hannah Witton. It was just everything. Again, Hannah, if I carry on, I'm going to go too much, but Hannah Witton's writing is just absolutely, it's beautiful and it's haunting, and the worlds she creates, they've always got this dark aspect to them, and at the same time they feel like a warm hug in a dark candlelit room. That's what her work always feels like to me, and I loved it, and I cannot wait to finish that duology. So I've got For the Throne next. And again, I'm slightly terrified, but I'm so excited. Then we've got Children of Gods and Fighting Men. Mentioned that earlier. Absolutely adore it, but I am taking a break from it for a minute whilst I sort of because there's quite a lot of people reading it at the moment, and like I said, I'm just, that's fine, that's great, I love that, but I need a break from it. I love it with all my heart, and I know it is going to be one of my, well, it already has become a all-time favourite for me, just from book one and a little bit of the first novella alone. So yeah, I want to go into that fully and with a whole space set aside for it. So that is what I'm going to do. But yeah, for like the rest of it. But Children of Gods and Fighting Men, yeah, I'm Shauna Lawless. You are in my Hall of Fame. Silver Cloak by L.K. Stevens. This was an arc, but Silver Cloak has now published. I got accepted for this arc back in January, and I just never got round to it until quite recently. I think only maybe like a month before Silver Cloak itself actually published. Oh, that book. It's cloak and dagger and wands fantasy, and it's done so perfectly. There are so many aspects in that book that a lot of authors, I know it could have been used as like some of the powers and the way that the magic system worked, it could have been used as a cop-out in a lot of the plot lines, and she didn't do that. Laura did not do that. She used everything to its full potential and didn't use anything as a way out of a plot line or to escape maybe something that she'd built up quite a lot. Everything was so done, so intricately done and well done. It was just everything, and it did. This is arguably one of the ones that kick-started, like me being excited about reading again after like a bit of a flat point. The magic system. So let me talk about the magic system really quickly, because it's really unique, and it's basically set in a world where people who have magic, it's fueled by pain and pleasure of any kind. So even just the joy of eating something good would be pleasure. So it's literally anything and everything that causes either one of the emotions is used to fill what's described as magic users' well of power. And the concept that pleasure is the one that increases... Oh, pleasure, this is it. Sorry, I had to think then. Pleasure is the one that increases the amount your well is filled with magic, but pain is what increases the potency of the power within the well of magic that the magic users have inside them. And oh my God, it's just, it was brilliant. It was phenomenal. And I again, it's one of them ones that I can't really say I'm not very good, I don't think, at speaking about books without wanting to spoil them or giving spoilers away. And this is particularly one of them books where I feel like it's hard not to do that because of the nature of the plot. But everything, even down, just the different kinds of magic that people perform and everything, and like the different sectors of what sort of magic user they fall under. It's all done so well, and the moments of tenderness and heart and romance in it, on top of all this scheming and adrenaline and unknown that happened. It was brilliant, and it is in the running for one of my top books of the year. I will say that. Along, like, obviously there's a couple in here that are, but I Silver Cloak really blew me away. Really blew me away. Then we moved on to a couple of romances that I read, just as like a little in between, as like a little gap. One of them was Hidden Roots. Why didn't I write down the author's name? I'll find it out and I'll mention it in the... Oh God, that's really bad of me. I didn't write it down for either of these. Okay, don't know why I did that. Hidden Roots, really loved that, really fun. Unromance with Erin O'Connor, I want to say that's by. That was a debut romance again. I really did enjoy that one. That wasn't for me at all. Just didn't hit any spots for me at all. I just didn't enjoy it. Then Blackwing by Ed McDonald. I have read that in the past. This was a reread. I'm also currently rereading the Faithful and the Fallen series, and obviously I'm loving that. Just had to mention that one really quick. Currently on Valor. I was meant to be done with that a few weeks ago. Courtney, I'm sorry, you've been waiting for literally a year for me to crack on with this, but I've just been busy, okay? Blackwing, Ed McDonald. Oh God, to be back in the misery with Gal Harrow was just absolutely everything, and I can't wait to carry on with it. I just need to put, my hair's really irritating me. I can't wait to be carry on with that reread of books 2 and 3. That is a dark, gritty, it's just brutal, and it's blunt. That Robin at Robin Reads Books on Bookstagram, she did a video review of that series the other day, because we were fangirling about it together, and she did a fantastic review and summary of that series, and I'm not going to be able to do anywhere near that much justice. So if you've got Instagram, go ahead and look at Robin Reads Books reel on that. That was only the other day, so it should be quite near the top of her page. Everything she said, it's just, I love it. I will speak about that more one day, maybe once I've done my reread of the entire series. Then Eye of the Wolf by A.E. Rain. Oh yeah, sorry, I don't know why, I had a feeling I was still reading that, but I haven't. I finished that. So what am I doing? Eye of the Wolf by A.E. Rain. You might have heard me rant and rave about A.E. Rain before. I think she is truly one of the most underrated authors in fantasy. I really believe there's something for everyone here. I think she's a good gateway into fantasy, but she's also perfect for seasoned, big, epic, wild fantasy readers, and her worlds, her plots, her characters, everything. She is one of my favourite authors ever, and I had read this one before, but again, it was just after I finished the Furyk saga, and I was so emotionally destroyed from that I sort of forgot what happened in book 1 of the second series. She's also got another series that's come out, which links back to, everything is in the same world. It's like a Robin Hobb-esque world of stories, her ones. Each series so far has got 6 books, and there's 3 of them. 3 series, sorry. But yeah, so going back to this and rereading this, she just doesn't miss. This woman is... I love her work. I love her books. I'm speechless. Epic. That encapsulates Rain's work. It's just epic on every level, on all scales, and pardon my squeaky chair. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Sorry, there's something pulling on my jumper, and it keeps, I think it's caught on the back of the chair, and it keeps pulling my, I keep getting like throttled by my jumper. Where were we? Paladin's Grace. That's here somewhere. Wait, that's down here. Here we go. I loved it. It was so good. This is my first Kingfisher book, or T. Kingfisher. This is my first Kingfisher book. I haven't read any of hers yet. I've been really wanting to, and the other day I just needed something a bit different because I've got a lot of big, heavy fantasies right now, and I just wanted something cozy, and I wanted something romantic. And the thing is, it is romantic, but I think anyone could enjoy this because there's also enough headless bodies and gore and mystery. And I loved the concept of the Paladins. The Paladins are these group of, paladins that in this world, they used to serve a god who is now dead, and they're all a bit astray. They don't really know where they fit in the world anymore, and they're trying to navigate coming to terms with this emptiness inside them that was left by a dead god, with normal life, and trying to navigate how, and it was just beautiful. I mean, the main male character, he knits socks. How was I supposed to not love this? Like, it was just brilliant. It was beautiful. I loved our other protagonist. God, why can I not remember anyone's names today? Grace. Obviously, Paladin's Grace. I loved it. It was great. It was so good, and everything about it. The only thing I will say is I do agree with, I don't know if anyone on here follows Ray, or Little Ray Reads on Bookstagram. She did say that the ending could have, I agree, the ending could have had a little bit more. I would have liked maybe like 5 pages, 10 pages of just a bit more of a rounded, I love a happy ever after, and if you're going to give it to me, give me a little bit of a glimpse of that. Like, I just wanted a few more pages, that was all. Could have been a bit more rounded, but I did love that. Now, my most recent read that I finished, take a breath everyone, Ravenminder by Lindsay Cummings. So, first of all, let this be my declaration of love for Lindsay. I got rejected when I applied for the NetGalley arc of Ravenminder, and bear in mind, Ravenminder had been on my radar for so long, and I was so excited about it, and then I got this email to say that I'd been rejected, and I was so gutted, and Lindsay posted something, and then I commented something back to someone else who had already commented on it, and Lindsay was like, you didn't get accepted? I was like, no. And she was like, right, I'm going to find a way. She basically was like, I'm going to find a way to get you this arc. And she did. She got it for me. She sent me the ebook of the arc, and I've never been more grateful. So Lindsay, thank you so much, because you have no idea how much that meant to me, especially now. I'm going to get emotional. Now that I loved that book with everything in me. When I started reading that book the other day, because I only finished it like a couple days ago, it was one of them ones where I was consumed, where if I wasn't eating or working, I was reading this book. I woke up, so after the night I started it, I went to sleep, and I you know when you're like trying to force your eyelids open, that is what Ravenminder did to me. And then I woke up the next morning before I did anything else, because I woke up at like 5. Before I did anything else, I grabbed my phone, I got on my Kindle app, and I got Ravenminder out. I was consumed. I could not put this down unless I had to. And you just know, there's some books where you just know that it's going to be for you, and within the first line I just had this tingly feeling that just took over my whole body, and the more and more I read, the more I loved it. And I needed a good romantasy that made me it just consumed me. I love the fact, first of all, Ravenminder, if anyone knows me, I am obsessed with corvids. They are I love birds in general, but corvids, ravens and crows in particular, are my absolute favourites, and I love them with all my heart. So to go into Aza's story and have them as a massive part of it, that was always going to leave a little soft spot for me. Oh god, everything. Thank you, Lynn. Like, so obviously we've got multiple love interests available in this. One of them doesn't have dark hair. Death to the Shadow Daddies. I'm so excited about it. I'm so sick of the shadow, like in romantasy style things. I'm so sick of, he's got shadow powers and he's got dark hair and la 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 la. I don't know why it turned into Dracula then. I'm so sick of it. So we've got a white blonde haired man who wears it in warrior braids and shaved heads, like shaved Aron, you have my heart. Obviously there is another one as well, but I was just so happy about that. Let me just squeal about that for a second. But aside from the love interests in this, Aza, who is our protagonist, she is just absolutely everything. I really enjoy, and Lindsay has said this when she's been talking about this book, that she wanted a main character. She wanted a female protagonist who is morally grey, and by morally grey as in Aza is selfish, and she's selfish in the best way possible. She knows she is, and she, like, I loved it. Just so many female protagonists, once they find out that like they can do this thing or they can do that thing or they're destined for this and that, it is like they do take on that martyrdom of, okay, well, I will sacrifice myself. I don't really want, like, they might have an internal monologue if I don't really want to, something along that. I'm just using that as an example of a situation, but Aza doesn't do that. Aza is like, I want to live. Like, I want to live my life. I deserve to live my life. And there's so many aspects to this book that it was just done so beautifully. And the way that the connections, the way also that each character viewed the others was done so well. And I think the way in turn that when we saw one of the other characters speaking about another one, you then saw it from a switch point of view, but it was done in a very, very good way that made you sort of think and justify and think about things from everyone's point of view, which I feel like sometimes gets lost when characters are being written, that even though sometimes maybe the author wants you to see it from all point of views, they don't do a very good job of giving you the material that you need to be able to do that. And Lindsay did such a great job of that. And just Aza, she is one of my top female characters of all time now, and I adore her with everything in my heart. And to be quite honest, I'm almost annoyed. Like, the book comes out actually next month. It comes out in October, and I'm almost annoyed that I've got an arc of it, because yes, it was only a month earlier than the publisher anyway, but now I have to wait until book 2. And Lindsay, take your time. If you take 5 years to write this, I don't care. I will be so excited to read the second book in this series. And how could I forget Animal Companions, for all my John Gwynne fans out there, for my John Gwynne fans who also enjoy a bit of romantasy. Animal Companions, we have a new one entered the building. We have Raffans, or Raffons. I keep saying Raffans. that might be wrong, Raffons, which are part giant raven, part panther. So they basically have the head and neck and wings of a giant raven that gets ridden. They get ridden. There's also giant eagles in this as well. And the bottom half and the tail is panther, and the connection, oh god, it's making me emotional. The connection that Lindsay wrote of the animal companion of the Rathlin in this with Aza, just everything. I don't quite know how I can do it justice without once again either spoiling it or not doing it justice, which I don't think would be fair. So yeah, keep an eye out for Ravenminder. That comes out next month. And if you're in the US, I know it's being indie published over there, so Lindsay is publishing it. Sorry, everyone is in and out today, and my door is right by the front door, and it's it's that is the dog trying to get in. Ravenminder, yeah, so keep an eye out for Ravenminder. That comes out next, that comes out in October. Or hang on, sorry, Orca's squeaking at the door, just bear with me 1 second. So, little dog break, quickly because she wants to say hello. For anyone who's read The Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne, this is Orca, and she's currently trying to strangle me. This is Orca. She just wanted to say hello really quickly, and now she's gone. Okay. Oh my god, it's chaos today. 2 seconds. Sorry, of course the first one back is absolute chaos. Everyone's in and out, and like I said, I'm right by the front door. You can hear everything if I carry on recording. So, but yeah, Ravenminder for the I think third time, if it's in here 3 times now, comes out next month. So any people who want a romantasy, it's like 520 something pages as well, and it's so quick. The pace does not let up. But it was amazing. The story is constantly moving forward, which I really loved. There was no dips, there was no low moments, and I was just hooked. And finally, obviously I've got some reads I'm doing, but I'm reading Midnight in the Everwood as well. I'm going to do a whole other video because hopefully they'll be more regular now and I can give you reading updates. But I will say I am currently reading, my main current read is The Hobbit for the first time ever, and that is courtesy of Ashley. Originally, I think it was me, Abby, and Ashley, all of hopefully I'll be able to put all of their ats in here. We're going to do a buddy read of that. And then Ash made like a whole Discord. I don't know if that was the original plan. I'm not always in the loop with messages coming up because scatterbrain. And I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun. I think I'm just over halfway. It might be completely wrong, but I'm absolutely loving it. And for someone who is not an audiobook person, the bits I still can't do it for too long, even though I'm really enjoying Andy Serkis's narration. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I am enjoying the audio, but it's a great read and I'm loving it. And initially I did think, because I haven't read Lord of the Rings either, that we're carrying on with that after, like we're going to do that after The Hobbit. So I'm trying to be quick now because I feel like I've been talking for absolutely ages. Yeah, I thought I was going to prefer The Hobbit to Lord of the Rings, but now reading The Hobbit, I've got a feeling I might prefer Lord of the Rings to The Hobbit. But we'll see. I might be completely wrong. But that concludes my catch-up video, and hopefully it won't be 5 months until I next post on here again. And if you're still sort of hanging around, that's great, and thanks. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know. Feels a bit of a blur now, actually. I'm trying to think what I've spoken about. But yeah, my reading's back. I'm back. The weather is getting colder here, and I am so excited about that. And I've got loads of ideas, loads of videos and things that I want to do. And like I said, hopefully more regular updates on my reading as well. I feel like there was something else I was going to mention, but now I really can't remember it. Oh well, I'll have to mention it in another video. But yeah, thanks. Like I said, hope you enjoyed it. And I will actually see you soon, and not 5 months soon. Maybe another point this month. Yeah, hope you all have a good day, and yeah, I think I'm done.